The justice is ruling in a split decision, 5-4, that those detainees do in fact have the right under the United States Constitution to challenge their detention in a civilian court of law. And that's the key. In a civilian court of law, not one of those military tribunals we've heard so much about. Civilian court. The ruling is a major legal setback for the Bush administration and its treatment of so-called enemy combatants detained since the attacks of 9/11. And President Bush has already said he disagrees. With us now is our senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. He said he'll follow the Supreme Court's ruling, but that he disagrees therewith. Break this down for us.
Okay. Shortly after 9/11, when they began to capture people on the battlefield, some people they paid bounties for in Afghanistan, like John Walker Lind, they didn't know what to do with them. They put them in Guantanamo Bay. The president issued an executive order declaring them enemy combatants and issuing the way they'd be tried. One of them challenged that, and the Supreme Court threw it out, so the president can't do this. So Congress then basically wrote into the law the same thing that the president had declared he had the power to do, and they added in the law that these people cannot challenge their detention in a federal court. They must first be tried by a military court and found guilty before they can challenge their detention. Today, the Supreme Court threw that out. You see, anywhere in the world, if you're confined by an American government authority, you have the right to force that authority to justify the confinement before a judge.
In other words, show me what you claim I did.
Correct. And justify how you gathered the evidence and satisfy the judge that you have real evidence against me. That's called habeas corpus, a fancy phrase for you can't lock somebody up and throw away the key. Remember, some of these people have been there for 6 years, have yet to see a judge, and have yet to be charged with any wrongdoing. The habeas corpus right forces the government to charge you and show the evidence, or to let you go.
Now, why does the system have a problem with that?
System has a problem with it because they do not want to reveal what the evidence is against these people, because they don't have the evidence against all of them, or they obtained it by means that will never pass muster in an American federal court. You can guess what those means were.
Torture.
Torture, absolutely.
That's what you're suggesting.
Or hearsay. Some of the people at Guantanamo Bay were literally purchased for bounties from the Northern Alliance, the group that helped us liberate Pakistan from the Taliban. The people who sold these human beings to the American government, they're no longer around to testify against them. So there are people in Guantanamo Bay that the government cannot prove a case against. If those people file a petition with a federal judge in D.C., it's make or break time. It's you locked me up, show me the evidence, and if you don't have it, the federal judge will release them.
Practically speaking, does this handcuff the government in any way as it tries to stop such things from happening to us again?
It says to the government, if you're going to lock somebody up, you better have the evidence. And when you gather the evidence, you better follow the law that you're sworn to uphold. What it does is it again puts America as a shining star in the sea of law, that we follow our own laws, even with those who have tried to destroy us.
How the hell did this happen? I mean, how did we veer so far from the Constitution for so long?
I think we veered out of fear, and I think we veered out of arrogance. The president received very bad advice. Put them in Cuba. The Constitution doesn't apply. The treaties don't apply. The laws don't apply. And
but it's still the American government.
Correct. But the government argued as recently as 6 months ago that Castro was the sovereign of Cuba.
Ugh.
The Supreme Court said today, Castro does not control Guantanamo Bay. The president does, because it's a military base, and the president has to follow the Constitution. This is one of the greatest affirmations of the rule of law in the past 50 years.
Really?
Absolutely. Because think about it. If the government could lock someone up and not charge them with a crime...
It's not called the United States anymore if they can do that.
There you go, Shep.
Judge, thank you.
My pleasure.
A good day.
A good day.